Welcome to the Random Acts of Kindness News Desk. I'm Linda Riesenberg-Fissler, and I'm so glad you could join us. The Random Acts of Kindness News Desk is where we share random acts of kindness performed by everyday people to make the world a kinder space. Join us on Facebook and share your stories with us. Every week to 10 days, we'll put together some stories to share via video and YouTube. Encourage others to join us, and please share your stories. Here's the random act of kindness we are sharing this week. Right place at the right time, listening to your intuitive voice. How tuned in are you to this voice within? When you get a message, do you usually write it off as nothing? We have found from countless experiences, the more that we pay attention to our intuition, the more we find ourselves in the right place at the right time. Case in point, a few years ago, a person was driving around Santa Monica doing some errands. He passed by a quaint little cafe, and although he wasn't hungry, he felt he should go in and get something to eat. The cafe wasn't very crowded, only 4 other tables were occupied. He ordered a salad. Just as it arrived at his table, he noticed a man sitting next to him, grabbing his throat. His face was turning red. He knew he was choking. Since the driver was trained as an emergency medical technician, he quickly went over and asked the choking man if he could talk or breathe. He said no. Well, he shook his head no, and gestured to the EMT driver that some food was lodged in his throat. The EMT immediately stood him up, performed the Heimlich maneuver. Out popped the food. While all this was happening, the other patrons in the cafe just watched in disbelief. They applauded when it was over. I think I received more hugs that day than I usually do in a week, the EMT driver said. Learn how valuable it is to pay attention to and act upon your intuition. This just in to the Random Act of Kindness News Desk from Glenna. She just saw a story on ABC News. A young woman's liver was failing. A total stranger, a former Marine, heard her need and signed up to be tested. He was a match. They underwent the operation and months of recovery, laughing together and becoming friends. When it was all over, he took her for carriage rides and, asked her to marry him. Random, kind, and a lovely story. Thanks for sharing this, Glenna, on the News Desk page. Also on our News Desk page, this story from Debbie. Her daughter, Lindsay Miller, and son-in-law, Josh Miller, bought inexpensive food gift cards for 3 police officers who were dining near them a couple of weeks before Christmas. She simply said that she wanted to thank them for their service to the community and wish them happy holidays. At first, they were stunned, but it quickly turned to appreciation. When you think about it, the police deal with a lot of people who aren't happy to see them. It's so awesome to surprise people with a random act of kindness. Have you hugged your policeman or fireman or first responder today? Thank you, Debbie, Lindsay, and Josh, for your kindness. This was also posted on the Random Acts of Kindness News Desk page. This was from Cindy. She watched a college student who was doing an experiment to see what random homeless people would do with $100. He followed him and saw him enter a liquor store. He assumed the homeless man was going to purchase liquor, but continued to follow him anyway. The homeless man went to a park where other homeless people were and started handing out money to them. By the third group of homeless people, the student that gave him the money walked up to him and asked him what he was doing. He said that all the other homeless people needed it more than he did. The student gave him another $50 and asked him to please use it on himself. He asked him why he went to the liquor store, and the man said he needed to break the $100 so that he could give it out to different people. Things are not always as they appear. Cindy also cares for abandoned newborn kittens, feeding them every 2 to 3 hours. Thank you, Cindy, for sharing this story, and thank you for helping the poor little kitties. Last story of the day. You may have seen this on the News Desk page as well. Terry Riesenberg, 60 years old, cuts 5 neighbors' lawns every week, riding a lawnmower he inherited from his father-in-law. The Ford Motor Company retiree and part-time car dealership salesman said he mows for neighbors who are getting older or younger people busy with raising children. It just seems to be the right thing to do, he said. I got the ability to help people out, and I think it's just the way it should be. Riesenberg is unofficial agreement with his neighbor, Dr. Keith Clark, to help out older neighbors. I mow the lawns. Dr. Clark does most of the heavy winter snow cleaning, Riesenberg said. He has a snowblower. A neighbor of Terry Riesenberg's, one of the older adults that lives in his neighborhood, nominated Terry as a neighbor who cares. Today is Pay It Forward Friday. Post your Pay It Forward random acts of kindness on our Facebook page to share positive energy with us all. That's all from the Random Acts of Kindness News Desk. I'm Linda Fissler reporting.